Do you have a prediction for the college football playoffs, or do you keep that under wraps?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to project because you got four real good football teams playing this weekend. One, a rematch from last year's semifinal game when Clemson beat Ohio State. I think these football games are going to be closer than the odds maker anticipates. And if they are, we'll see what happens here. Let me also go out by saying this. Alabama has gone through a football season where they've coasted, and every good football team faces a tough game where it's a scare game. Alabama hasn't had that yet. So don't be surprised if Notre Dame puts a scare into Alabama this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the 20 points, when I first saw it, I was like, wait a second. I know Notre Dame has had some clunkers recently, but they still have also had some wins. They've won some bowl games against good football teams. It's not like they're 0-5 in the last 5 bowl games. They've won some, they've lost some. Yeah, they had a bad game here or there against top competition, but I don't think anybody would doubt that this is his best team. And okay, they lost to Clemson, but they beat Clemson. So you can't sweep Clemson. It's not going to happen. So yeah, I agree. I just think Alabama's defense not very good. Florida just scored whenever they wanted to. Notre Dame is not Florida offensively, but defensively much better. Yes, 20 points blew my mind how big that was. That has to be something mentally to the kids at Notre Dame. What kind? Wow, 20-point dogs. Everybody thinks we're trash. So I think that's going to come into play. And here's an interesting thing, too. Ohio State has played Clemson 3 times all time, all in bowl games. And Clemson has beaten them all 3 straight up and against the spread.
Yeah, Clemson sort of has their number here. It remains to be seen whether or not they can do it 2 consecutive years in a row. Remember, with Ryan, Ohio State is 22-1 straight up. The only loss was to Clemson, as we just talked about
Ryan
last
Day,
year.
you mean?
Ryan Day, yes.
Okay.
And also, one other number to go out on in that Alabama game, we talked about it, them being a 20-point dog. In my database, college bowl dogs that are getting 16 or more points just on the blind, doesn't matter who you are or what the situation is, a bowl dog of 16 or more, they are 11-3 against the spread since 1980. So I would think of the 14 bowl dogs that were getting 16 or more, Notre Dame might be the best of those teams that took 16 or more. So just keep that thought in mind when this game plays this weekend.
And also, SEC bowl teams are 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 as favorites of more than 13 points. And of course, Alabama beat up on Notre Dame in the 2013 BCS championship game, which again I think is another reason why, or a key reason why people Notre Dame in the playoffs, and they've gotten beat up by Clemson that one time and Alabama, but that was 7 years ago. I don't think that should look. If Notre Dame gets beat up again and can't cover 20 points, then I am officially never touching them again. I don't care if they get 40 points against Clemson or any of these teams. This has got to be the year that Notre Dame shows up. They don't have to win. They just have to show up, and we'll see if they can do that. When it's all said and done, though, I'm actually going to take Clemson to win the national championship. I think a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, who gets another chance in the playoffs, I don't know if he'll go 1-2. I think he's going to end up 2-1, and I think he's going to be the difference in them winning the national championship. But it should be interesting because, as you said in the open, these are 4 really good football teams, and anything can happen.
I think there'll be one heck of a weekend of college football playoff to be found this weekend, and we'll look forward to the championship game when it does come about. Right.
And we'll talk about that next week as well. Mark, appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the football.
Hey, my pleasure as always, Greg. Be safe, stay well, and Happy New Year.